Welcome to Calcutta Races Winter Meeting, second day, Tuesday, 8th January 2019 race preview. We move on to the first race, which is the Aeronative Handicap for horses rated 1 to 26 in Class 5. Number 1 will be Cool Conqueror. Cool Conqueror's last outing was in race number 66 this season, over 2,000 meters, where Cool Conqueror turned into the home straight and travelled very wide of the track and managed to finish on third. And the winner of that race was a comfortable winner. That was Dash, who won it by 2 lengths. Number 2 will be Queen's Kitten. Queen's Kitten has had one start this season in race number 64, over 2,000 meters, and after some vigorous riding, Queen's Kitten managed to finish on board. Finished on third was Queen's Kitten. In the same race we had number 5 Orion, who finished on 7th, and the winner of that race was Power of Freedom. Came up with a dazzling run on the stand side and went on to win that race by 2 1/4 lengths. Number 3 will be Adriatic Sea. Adriatic Sea's last outing was this season in race number 65, over 1,600 meters, was amongst the front runners in the final stages of the race, Adriatic Sea, but was overtaken by Star Phoenix on the rail side, who went on to win that race by about 2 3/4 lengths, and Adriatic Sea finished on second, and Winner's Delight in the same race finished on fourth. Number 6 will be Constance. Constance's last outing was this season in race number 73, over 1,400 meters, where Constance finished on 10th, and the winner of that race was Singapore Sling, who sprung a surprise on New Year's Day. And also in the same race we had number 8 Deansdale, that finished on 6th. Number 7 will be Solaris. Solaris' last outing was this season in race number 31, over 1,400 meters, and after a few reminders in the final stage of the race, Solaris managed on to finish on 4th, and the winner of that race was stablemate Pellion. We move on to the second race, which is the Prince Blossom Plate, to be run over a distance of 1,400 meters for horses 3 years old only. Number 2 will be Rare Bird. Rare Bird had one start this season in race number 53, over 1,200 meters, where Rare Bird finished on 6th. Also in the same race we had number 4 Ruby Cube, who was leading the way, but was overtaken in the final stages of the race by the winner. That was Angel's Grace, who won that race by about 3 1/4 lengths. Ruby Cube managed on to finish on second. Also in the same race we had number 5 Eastside, who finished on 4th. Number 6 will be Shivalik Sight. Shivalik Sight's had 2 starts this season in race number 35 and race number 61, which is the last one, over 1,100 meters. And Shivalik Sight in both its outings has finished on board, finished third in both its outings, and the last one, the winner, was Aquaracer. We move on to the third race, which is the Aussie Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1,600 meters. Number 1 will be Razor Grand. Razor Grand has come down from Pune and now stationed here in Calcutta. One start this season in race number 68, over 1,600 meters, and what a start that was for Razor Grand. Came up with pelling strides on the outside and just blew the field away in the final 100 meters and won that race by about 3 1/4 lengths. Also in the same race we had number 2 Devotion, who finished on third. Number 3 will be Michaela. Michaela's last outing has been over 2,000 meters in race number 54, where Michaela travelled very wide and was running quite erratic in the final stage of the race and managed on to finish on 7th at the back end of the field. Winner of that race was Saberjet. Number 4 will be Alisa. Alisa has been knocking on the door for quite some time. Last outing being in race number 42, over 1,600 meters, where Alisa was leading the way, but was overtaken in the final stage of the race, and Alisa managed on to finish on a close third. The winner of that race was Furel, who got it by a short head. Number 5 will be Pellion. Pellion's had 2 starts this season and is in form, this Dark Bay Colt Pellion. Tazahum out of Alandra, and won both its outings. Vespalian, last one being very impressive in race number 56. Won it by 3 1/4 lengths by beating Uncrowned King. Number 6 will be Uncrowned King. Uncrowned King's last outing was in race number 75 over 1400 meters, where Uncrowned King, after a few reminders and some vigorous riding, managed on to finish on third, and the winner of that race was Coconut. We move on to the 4th race, which is the Zara Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1600 meters. Number 1 will be Prince of Heart. Prince of Heart's last outing was this season in race number 75 over 1400 meters, and Prince of Heart was towards the back end of the field and managed on to finish on 9th as Prince of Heart. Winner of that race was Coconut. Number 2 will be I Told You No. I Told You No was last outing in race number 36 over 2,000 meters, where I Told You No was amongst the front runners and was finished on third. Was I Told You No, when the winner of that race was Yuan, who won that race by about a neck. Number 3 will be Rustler. Rustler's had 3 starts this season, run off the board in all its 3 starts. Last one being in race number 26 over 1200 meters, where he couldn't get much out of Rustler. Was right at the back end, and the winner of that race was Lumos, who won that race by about a neck. Number 4 will be Princess Elena. Princess Elena last time was ridden in over 1600 meters by Pete Trevor in race number 25, and this time by jockey Afzal Khan. Princess Elena sprung a surprise and went on to win that race by a length and a quarter by beating Dash. Number 5 will be 7 Step. 7 Steps last outing was in race number 57 over 1600 meters, where 7 Step was amongst the front runners and was overtaken in the final stage of the race, and 7 Step finished on third, and a close third, I must say. In the same race we had number 6, Expensive Affair, who came up with a late dash and managed to finish on second. On the winner of that race was number 7, Lotse, who came up with a dazzling run down in the center and won that race by 3 parts of a length, and number 8, Yuvan, who finished on fourth. Number 9 will be Porus. Porus' last outing was in race number 65 over 1600 meters. Porus travelled very wide of the track and came up with a late run, but couldn't match strides to the winner, and Porus finished on third, and the winner of that race was Star Phoenix. Number 10 will be Queen's Command. Queen's Command's last outing was in race number 24 over 1100 meters after a lot of cracks and vigorous riding. Couldn't get much out of Queen's Command, finished 7th. The winner of that race was Viserion, who won that race. Number 11 will be Bambini Festa. Bambini Festa was in the mid-pack throughout the way in this last outing in race number 56 over 1400 meters, but eventually faded out and finished 10th was Bambini Festa, and the winner of that race was Pelion, who won it by 3 1/4 lengths. We move on to the 5th race, which is the MB Medora Cup, to be run over a distance of 2,000 meters. Number 1 will be No More Politics. And No More Politics' last outing in race number 55 over 2,000 meters, where No More Politics finished on 5th, and the winner of that race was Multiglory, who blew that field away and won it by 5 lengths. Number 2 will be Old Arrow. Aldero's last outing was quite impressive in race number 43 over 2,000 meters. Aldero had to work out hard and have a good battle with Midnight Phantom, and eventually Aldero got the better of Midnight Phantom and won it by just a head. Number 3 will be Drogo. Drogo's last outing was in race number 59 over 1400 meters, and Drogo finished on 10th. Also in the same race we had number 4, the Straddle, who finished on 4th, and the winner of that race was Simon Templar, who won that race by about 3 1/4 lengths. Number 5 will be Dixie Diamond, Setchfield out of Dixie Darlin. And last outing of Dixie Diamond was in race number 75 over 1400 meters, where Dixie Diamond finished on 5th and was ridden by apprentice R.S. Bhatti. The winner of that race was Coconut. This time Dixie Diamond is being ridden by jockey P. Trevor. Number 6 will be Ruck Sharkey. Ruck Sharkey's had 2 starts. First start finished on board to finish on 2nd in race number 13. But in its last start in race number 42, Ruck Sharkey finished on 8th over 1600 meters. And the winner of that race was Fiorel. Number 7 will be Avarua. Avarua has been also knocking on the doors, had 2 starts this season. In its first start in race number 30, finished on 3rd over 1600 meters. And its last start, Avarua finished on 2nd in race number 54 over 2000 meters. And this time out running over the same distance as Avarua, and being ridden by Hindu Singh. We move on to the 6th race, which is the Icelandic Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1200 meters. Number 1 will be Arakawa. Arakawa's had 3 starts this season, run off the board in all its 3 starts. Last outing being in race number 80 over 1100 meters. And Arakawa was amongst the front runners in the final stages of the race, but just faded away and finished on 8th was Arakawa. Winner of that race was Southpaw. Number 2 will be Spear Trim. Spear Trim's just had 1 start in the monsoon meeting in race number 64 over 1100 meters, where Spear Trim almost finished detached to finish on 12th. Winner of that race was Mongolian King. Being run here after a long layoff is Spear Trim. Number 3 will be Leopard Creek. Leopard Creek's last outing was not impressive at all in race number 60 over 1400 meters, was towards the rail side in race number 60 over 1400 meters, and finished on 7th was Leopard Creek, just faded away, and the winner of that race was Splash Proof. Number 4 will be Oath of Allegiance. Oath of Allegiance came into the home straight and travelled quite wide on the track, and finished on 8th was Oath of Allegiance. Just 1 start this season in race number 5 over 1400 meters. The winner of that race was Advika, who got that race by about a neck. Number 5 will be Tibidabo. Tibidabo's last outing was in race number 71. Has had 2 starts. First outing finished on 2nd. Last one in race number 71 finished on 4th. Also in the same race we had number 8 Tiburon, who finished on 2nd, and number 9 Pollyanna, who finished on 8th, and number 10 Scorpion Queen, who finished on 7th. But the eventual winner of that race was a runaway winner, Novikov, who won that race impressively by 5 lengths. Number 6 will be Lady 2. Lady 2's last outing was in race number 72 over 1100 meters, where Lady 2 finished on 5th. And also in the same race we had number 11 Bang Bang, who finished on 1 behind to finish on 6th. But the eventual winner of that race was The Kiss, who got it by a length and a quarter. Number 7 will be The Grey Next Star. Stern Opinion out of Miss Langkawi is next off. Last outing being in race number 52 over 1100 meters, where next star finished on 6th. And the winner of that race was He Calls the Shots. Came up with a good run on the outside to finish on and win that race by about half length. Number 12 will be Jacobin. Jacobin's had 2 starts this season. First outing finished off the board to finish on 6th. Last outing was quite an eye-catcher. In race number 50 over 1100 meters, after some vigorous riding, managed to finish on 4th. Winner of that race was Stallone. We move on to the 7th and last race, which is the Almeda Handicap Division 1, to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. Number 1 will be Scarlet Tempera. Scarlet Tempera's last outing was in race number 71 over 1200 meters, where Scarlet Tempera finished on 6th. Winner of that race was Novikov, who won that race by about 5 lengths, and the rest just seemed to be in futile chase and just couldn't do much, as Novikov was just too good that day. Number 2 will be Gimme Credit. Gimme Credit's last outing was impressive in race number 76 over 1200 meters, was a long shot. Gimme Credit, and that is on New Year's Day. Gimme Credit led the way and managed to hold on by a nose as Gimme Credit, and Royal Muse, who came up with a late dash, just finished a nose behind to finish on 2nd. Also in the same race we had number 5 Moira, who finished right at the back end to finish on 14th, and number 9 Midnight Magic, who finished on 5th. Number 3 will be Shape the Scape. Shape the Scape's last outing in race number 77 over 1200 meters came into the home straight amongst the front runners, but eventually faded out and finished on 6th. And also in the same race we had number 6 Artificial, who managed to finish on 4th. And the winner of that race was Jezebel. Another long shot, sprung a surprise, won it by the nose. Number 4 will be Tangaluma. Tangaluma's last outing was quite impressive in race number 50 over 1100 meters. After a couple of reminders and vigorous riding in the final stage of the race by jockey R. and Darshan, Tangaluma managed to finish on 2nd, just 1 3/4 lengths behind the winner, that was Stallone, this time being ridden by apprentice Rupal Singh. Number 7 will be Jorel. Jorel's last outing was in race number 74 over 1400 meters, and Jorel finished right at the back end to finish on 10th. Winner of that race was Speed Force, who won it very impressively on New Year's Day by 5 1/4 lengths. Being ridden out by Imran Chisti was Speed Force that day. Number 8 will be Imprimatur. Imprimatur's last outing was in the monsoon meeting in race number 128 over 1400 meters, and Imprimatur finished on 7th, and the winner of that race is Hudson, who came up with a good run down in the center and went on to win that race by about 2 lengths. Number 10 will be Fabiola. Fabiola's last outing was in the last Calcutta cold weather season in race number 186 over 1200 meters, where Fabiola finished on 4th, and the winner of that race was Sheer Force, who won it by 2 1/2 lengths. Is running after a long layoff here is Fabiola. Number 11 will be Zara Go Zara. Zara Go Zara's last outing was in race number 47 this season over 1200 meters, and after vigorous riding and a couple of reminders in the final stages, couldn't get much out of Zara Go Zara, finished on 10th, and the winner of that race was the 6th Seal, who won it by a length and a quarter. We move on to the 8th and last race, which is the Almeda Handicap Division 2, to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. Number 1 will be Romantic Lass. Romantic Lass's last outing was in the monsoon meeting in race number 121 over 1100 meters, and Romantic Lass finished on 5th. Winner of that race was Praise Gaze, who blew the field away that day and went on to win it by a length and a quarter. Number 2 will be Praise the Gaze. Praise the Gaze's last outing was in this season in race number 50 over 1100 meters in Praise Gaze finished on 8th. Number 3 was Buddy Holly, who was leading the way, but was overtaken in the final stages of the race by Stallone, and Buddy Holly finished on 2nd. Also in the same race, we had number 5, My Lady Luck, finished on 14th, and Dark Gold that finished on 5th. But as I said, the winner of that race was Stallone. Number 7 will be Dancing Prince. Dancing Prince has had 5 starts this season and run off the board in all its 5 starts. Last outing in race number 77 over 1200 meters. Now you see Dancing Prince towards the outer rail and finished very wide. Finished on 12th. Winner of that race was Jezebel. Number 8 will be The Last Judgment. The Last Judgment's had 2 starts this season. Run right at the back end of the field in both its starts. The last one being in race number 34 over 1100 meters, where The Last Judgment travelled very wide, travelled a little bit erratic. The jockey just gave up in the final stage of the race and eased up, and The Last Judgment finished on 14th. Winner of that race was Romanov. Number 9 will be Bourneville. Bourneville's had 2 starts this season, last one being in race number 76 over 1200 meters, where Bourneville finished on 8th. Winner of that race is Gimme Credit, who won that by a nose. Number 10 will be Ayana. Ayana's last outing, just 1 start in race number 16 this season. Over 1200 meters, was in the mid-pack and managed to finish on 5th was Ayana. The winner of that race was Too Good. That is Oak Brook, who won it by 5.5 lengths. Number 11 was Regal. Regal's last outing, just 1 start this season, was in race number 49 over 1100 meters, where Regal finished on 7th, right at the centre of the field. And the winner of that race was Hurricane Storm, who won that race by about 1 1/4 lengths. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time, and we hope to see you on Sunday, 13 January, for the Calcutta Derby Stakes 2019.